Okay, I just wanted to cover one other reasonably timely, topic. In fact, I was looking at my third ever post that I wrote. It says, it's titled, in fact, I've given half the story away, When to Bail Out of the Market. And I say, what to make of this? The stock market went up and up, then crashed. Then went up, then crashed. Where to next? And the joke was, I wrote this post, as I said, in January this year. And you remember what happened in January this year. And now as I look at it, it's exactly what's happened in the last couple of days with the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. Up and up and up, and then crash, up slightly, then crash again. And where to next, we don't know. So here we are repeating history just 6 months later. Is it going to go back up? Is it going to go down more? Are we going to have a big recession like Warren Buffett thinks? Are we going to have a big crash like we had in 1929? I don't know, but neither does anybody else. But let me tell you something else. If we do have a crash like in 1929, and if you bought your stocks on the day before the crash, so let's say you bought them on Friday this week, or you bought them in December last year, or you bought them in, when was it, March? I think it was March or something, 1929. If you bought the night before the market crash was at its absolute peak, and you kept that stock for 30 years, you would still end up with an 8.5% compounded annual return, realizing that inflation is only 4%. So to me, I don't care where the market is or isn't. It's time. If you're prepared to buy and to hold and do what Warren Buffett suggests, buy a low-cost index fund and just hold it for 30 years, you are guaranteed, if the last 75 years of history is any guide, you are guaranteed a return of at least 8.5%. That's not too shabby. You're guaranteed an average, well, not guaranteed, but the average return was 11% in that time, which is fantastic. Only two 30-year periods in that entire time returned less than or more than 11.5%. One was the worst one was a better one at 13%. Okay, so here's what I do know. What I do know about stock investing is this. I don't invest for 30 years, although I'm prepared to hold the stock if I need to, if I love the company, for 30 years. I actually do a combination of picking a stock that I would keep for 30 years, like Warren Buffett suggests, but then I try and trade in and out of it to take advantage of the highs and the lows in the market cycle, because the market misprices stocks on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes those stocks catch up with their right price, then I might sell out of them for a while, may not, depends how much I love the company. Other times the market underprices those stocks and I want to buy them. Give you an example. You go shopping, it's Christmas. At Christmas time, would you rather be the guy selling the toys, or would you rather be the guy buying the toys? It's the same thing with the stock market. When the market is high and everyone else is buying, would you rather be the guy selling the stocks to them, or the guy buying the stocks from the few people, well, the few smart people who are selling? So it's exactly the same thing. So here we go. What I suggest is this. Be a seller when others are buying. So don't try and time the top of the market, but you saw the market was very high for the last year. You could have sold at any time, stayed in cash, and you'd be way better off than 90% of investors out there in the marketplace right now. Be a buyer when others are selling. So in January, when this market crashed, and or February, when it was down pretty low, were you scared the market was going to go lower? Perhaps. But in March, it was already rising again. If you were brave, you could have bought in, you would have had a very nice rally, and you could have sold off. But make sure that when you do buy that you know your values. In case you get your timing wrong, you can always hold for the long run. And that market bottom will run its course and the market will go back up again over time. If it doesn't go back up again over time, let me tell you something. Doesn't matter how much cash you have, how many stocks you have or don't have, you are going broke with the rest of the world anyway.